these these are a selection of machines that I made, which to me look very much alike, although they have significant differences. I will go over them one by one, just showing them off a little bit. Some of them have already been presented in some videos, but I'll start over anyways. Let me start with this one. This is a 1960s Galaxy Deluxe, green and grey. This is the machine that has the green plating, although you cannot see it very well in the picture. There we go. I received this by donation. It's a very nice machine. It has a padded carriage return lever and paper support, tabulator bar on top. I really like that. Some machines don't have it, like for instance the next one. You have the tab here on the side and they have nothing here. I prefer this actually more. However, this is still a wonderful machine to use. This is a Smith & Corona Super Sterling. Tabulator, clear set, the lot. This one doesn't have paper support, this one does. This is overall just a basic model of this particular machine. There's no jeweled escapement or anything like that. You can see some difference, like for instance in the cover. First of all, noticeable there's no bar, but the cover is also slightly different if you look at the top. This has gotten wider and it's more flat, it's more even instead of that one, as you can see. It's a different design. And then we get to the next one, which is a Galaxy, just a Galaxy, that's the Galaxy Deluxe. And that's different again. This is for instance crinkle finish. This is way more basic than that one, I have the feeling. Although maybe not, because it has the paper support and this one doesn't. The difference between these two and that one is also the knobs, for instance. I have the feeling this is more modern than those. But you can see the difference in cover. You see this is still slide off, but you can see that this is takes up less space than that one, and is also sticking out upwards more. Like you can see the design difference, definitely. I think this one is the oldest, that one's the youngest. Then we get to another one, which is my Smith Corona Classic 12. This is the newer version. This is the older version. This Classic 12 was from the early 60s, I think, or actually late 60s, and that one was from the early 70s or late 60s. You can see significant differences. For instance, this one has less features. This one doesn't have the unjam key or the tab bar here. This machine doesn't have the power space here and the hash space here. It does have a hash space, only it's located here for the moment. It works fine. It's not perfect. I'd rather have my hash space on the space bar, but this works. This machine still has some factory tape on the back, as you can see. I'm not bothering to take that off because it is an absolute pain. This tape just is hard as a rock. It's unbelievably difficult to take off. Now, and then the last one, obviously, is my Smith & Corona Sterling. Yes, I still have this machine. The first video on my channel actually presents this machine. It's a video from January 3rd, 2012, so that's 2.5 years ago now. I still have it, still use it frequently. This is still the ribbon that I had in that video, and I think it's pretty much dead now, but it still works. This machine, I mean. I did do some checkups on it recently, so it's clean and oiled right now. The only one in this one that I haven't done is this one, and this is a absolute nightmare because I think I got this machine, I think it was 2012. Didn't have the experience with cleaning a machine I have now. Apparently over oiled the thing so much that the keys are so gummy. It is ridiculous, as you can see. So yeah, that's my own fault, I admit it, but that was a long time ago before I had the experience I have now. I barely, like I remember on the machine, I would go through a WD-40 bottle on 2 machines, and now I can use one bottle for about 12 to 14. It's really has changed. And then mostly I use the WD-40 to polish and clean the outside because it really takes off a lot of gunk. Yeah, so you can see the significant differences. I mean, for instance, this one has more features than, for instance, this model, but then this one has more features than that model. For instance, this one doesn't have a half space, like if you can see, and then this one does. The difference you can also see with some of the machines, for instance, is that they kept the spacebar white, you know, especially here where this is colored and this is white. And then you go to these two, that's colored, you know. And it's interesting to see these different designs. Now, for instance, this is a Sterling 12-inch. Yeah, this is a 12-inch carriage. And then you go to the Super Sterling, and that's a 9-inch carriage. You know, it takes 8.5 by 11, so it should be, I think it's 9 inches or 9.5, something like that. All of these machines still have the original cases. I actually had 2 of these classic 12s. There is an older video in my YouTube channel which shows the exact copy of this machine. But I sold that one, I think it was in December, something like that. Anyway, the other copy in that video has been sold, but I have another one. This one is in better cosmetic shape. This one actually has the case. The other one didn't. This one actually also has the paperwork still, and it's inside the case. This one I bought for $5 with a Facet TP1, which I will show in another video. My Smith Corona Sterling. Well, here, that's very old. It's one of the very first machines I owned. I think it was from 2010. This one I bought 2012, I think. Just trying to get it through my head. Yeah, this one was 2012. 2012, this one 2013, and this one I got a couple months ago. So this one is the newest of this set here. The back all look alike except the Smith Corona Super Sterling, which has this has a pattern. This is more rough than the others, but you can see that the backs are all pretty much the same, and they all are mostly alike. There are just some of the extra features, some of the design differences. It's rather interesting looking at it, and you know, you get your knowledge from that. The shifting around of the knobs, for instance, half space being on this machine over here while this one is here. I mean, it's the same option, it's the same system. And for instance, the tabulator button here and clear and set button here, while on this machine, or let's say use this machine, it's over here. Now if you go back to the older models, let me just put you down and grab a machine that is like that. I'll be right back. Now this machine, I'll put it behind, yeah, this is good, I suppose. I haven't taken this out of its case for a long time. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's so fine. Now this machine is from the early 60s. Okay, let me just grab it. Now this machine's from the early 60s. Now as you can see, the design from that one is totally different. They totally changed the design, but you can still recognize some of it. For instance, the keys, they're the same. The mechanism is the same, believe it or not. And the carriage return lever, for instance. But if you go even farther beyond this model, you'll see that it really ages a lot away. But you can always recognize something that Smith Corona always had. This floating shift, the location actually of the tab. Because you can see that this is the old version. So you have the tab clear and set in the tabulator over here, which is on this, also located here. So it indicates that this machine is older than this one, as they have rearranged that. It's rather interesting to think about and to look at it and see those differences and see those different age groups. I mean, it's the same with cars. You'll have these different years and they look alike, but when you look closer, the differences are rather small, and it's usually in the engine, or it's in the features that it carries. And it's the same with typewriters. For instance, the cases might differ. You would say that the classic, here's the classic 12, the old version, here's the new version, and this one still has a vinyl case, while this one has a plastic case. These are more fragile, I find, though. They feel sturdy, but I have the feeling these protect more than this. And you don't have to click it into place. The only difference that this one carries that I find rather interesting, and I wonder why they did that, is that all of these are slide-off covers, as you can see. Except this one, but this is an older one. It just folds up like that. But you can see all of these are slide covers. While this one, you pull off. I wonder why they did that. Because there were other versions that came from the same year. For instance, I don't know, I think Galaxy Deluxe was made that same year and they had slide covers. So I wonder, I think it's just cheaper, but it still surprised me. Okay, my camera is indicating that I'm about to run out of battery, so I'm just gonna cut this video a bit short. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned. Bye bye.